Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ball with Emika. And we have just seen Arsenal win yet another game convincingly. And I think to myself, I don't think there's anybody who's ready to stop them. They just won 2-0 at home against Brentford. Beautiful goal by Merino, and then Saka finishing it up in the last minute of the game. And then we see the challengers, in quotes, are struggling. Chelsea losing 3-1 to Leeds. Who would have seen that one coming after beating Barcelona, beating PSG earlier in the season, beating Liverpool? To be fair, Liverpool aren't really playing good football anyway. But, they look like they might be the team to challenge Arsenal after drawing with them 1-1 at home with a red card. You have to commend them there. But I think maybe it was just the changes that they made that made them look like they weren't good enough. But I think we need to talk about Arsenal first. I'm going to talk about Arsenal, I'm going to talk about Chelsea, and I'm going to talk about Liverpool today. And also, I might touch on Aston Villa because I think they're a team that people are sleeping on. But with Arsenal, I just look and I see that they keep winning games. They're winning games easily. How many wins now? Like so many wins. They're hardly dropping points. They're winning the games you expect them to win. And, the games where they're dropping points, Chelsea, that's a tough team. Liverpool, I would say they were unlucky. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I'm just going to be real. I think they were unlucky in that game. And then we see the City game 1-1, and then Sunderland, and I think they've won the rest of their games. So I think they're doing what they need to do. And, they're winning the games that they were drawing last season, and that's a very, very important thing for them. Today we saw Madueke's flick go to Ben White. Ben White's cross, beautifully headed by Merino. I think Merino is a very interesting player to look at because he's one that was brought in as a midfielder but can play as a striker, and he seems to be doing so well as a striker. He's always there for headers. He scored that goal against Chelsea last weekend, and I saw a stat where he has 6 goals headed, like 6 headed goals from February till now, and then the next highest is 4. I'm not sure if it's Kevin Shade, but you look at that and it's like this guy could just play up front, and Arsenal are missing Jesus and Havertz. They're trying to bring back Gyökeres back quickly. Not too quickly, but they're just trying to make sure that he comes back and he's not going to get injured again. So I'm just looking at Arsenal. I'm like, they have such a good team. Like I said, Merino finishing great chances and all of that, and they have the most. He has the most headed goals since February. And also, like, I remember seeing that shot or the header. I think it was also Shadow again, and Raya's save. I'm like, it's almost as if Arsenal just have a perfectly built team. It's like they have a player that can play in every single position, and every player just plays fantastically well. You have a front line who will get you goals. Their midfield is, it's very, very unlikely that you're going to outwork Arsenal's midfield this season. You have Odegaard who's moving all around the pitch. Declan Rice, wow, what a player! I think he looks like he's been worth every pound that he was bought for. And then you have Zubimendi, who just seems to be fantastic in every game. And there are still players on the bench that are playing really well. And then their defense, Calafiori. White was right back initially today. I don't know if he moved to centre back. Timber, fantastic. And the funny thing is, they are missing centre backs. They are missing Saliba. They're missing Gabriel. And unfortunately, Mosquera picked up an injury today, and Timber had to come on. But I think Saliba should be back soon. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's the only worry for Arsenal right now. They seem to be doing really well and getting the results. And in all honesty, like, I don't like the fact that I'm saying it because I'm a Liverpool fan and I don't want to see Arsenal win the league. But altogether, I'm thinking to myself that if Arsenal keep playing this way, I don't see any team that's playing well enough to stop them. I know City have won their last 2 games, but 5-4 when you're leading 5-1 is a very interesting result. 3-2 when you were leading 2-0 and, Leeds coming back, and then you finally getting a late minute goal or a late goal. I'm starting to question if City are really contenders, And right now, it looks like the gap at the top is 6 points, if I'm not mistaken. So, altogether, I'm looking at Arsenal right now, and they look like they might just be set for the league. Obviously, it's still just 14 game weeks in, so there's still 24 more games to play. But right now, being 5 points clear over City, yeah, you know, except City start playing really well and Arsenal drop points, and Arsenal just don't look like they're dropping points anytime soon. Um, Now let me go to Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm just going to be very honest with you. This season has been shocking. It's been absolutely ridiculous. Um, Going into the Sunderland game, looking at how well Sunderland have been playing, I'm like, I'm not sure we win this game, and that's not something that Liverpool fans should get used to saying. It's Sunderland. Yes, I know that they're playing really well. They're in the top six. Fantastic. You have to give them all the credit that they deserve. But Anfield should be where we're winning games, and we just can't seem to be doing that yet. Um, the game was interesting. No, it wasn't, if I'm being completely honest. The first 60 minutes, I don't think anything really happened. And then, you know, they scored their goal. And I just question it again, like our defending. And maybe I'm being too harsh, maybe I'm being too harsh. But I think the way we defend nowadays is worrying. It's like you just see everybody backing off. It's almost like they're not really ready to dive in and make a tackle or make a block. And so many deflected goals against Van Dijk, and it's just beginning to look very weird. And right now, I'm looking for the positives, with Slots. Everybody is saying Slot out, or some people are saying Slot out. I'm not entirely sure what to do with Slot because you have to give him credit for winning the league last season, but this form has been abysmal. It's been abysmal. I can't even believe what I'm watching sometimes. We just don't even look like we're ready to win games. And for everybody who is saying Slot should go, the question is who comes in? Like, there has to be a good replacement for Slot if he's going to leave. So, I'm not too sure about Slot going yet. Great to see Verts get a goal. I'm not really sure if that goal was given to him at the end of the day. I remember that, there was a discussion about whether it was an own goal, but it seems like, okay, it's not his goal. But yeah, good play, but clearly if it was not his goal, if it was an own goal, then it was going off target. So, a goal is a goal, 1-1. Not proud of the results, Liverpool could still go down from 8th if time isn't taken by different teams. So, I don't know. I'm just not convinced by Liverpool yet. Like, I think there's so much more that needs to be worked on. I think some players are just not looking like they're really playing well. Salah, I love Salah, honestly, but what is going on, man? Like, he just looks like every shot is going to hit a defender. Every pass is looking like it's unlikely if it's not a sideways pass. He just looks off it. And I was a bit shocked he came on in the 45th minute or just when the second half was starting. I just didn't think he was supposed to play. But maybe Gakpo is injured. Gakpo is another player I have questions about. I know he has the most goals and assists for Liverpool in the league right now, but I just think his decision making is funny. And Verts looks like he's a player. I think he's finally starting to click, but Liverpool are not clicking, and I don't know what's going to happen. I think for Liverpool this season, the goal is just go to Europe. Forget the league. Like, we're way behind Arsenal. Forget the league. We're not retaining the league. Just try your best to get to the top four. It's looking difficult because City are, winning games. Aston Villa, I will get to Aston Villa very soon. Aston Villa keep playing really well, and I just think maybe there's something here for Villa to challenge for the top four. They were unlucky not to go to Champions League last season, but Liverpool, just focus on top four, really, because I don't see anything happening. Now, Chelsea. Chelsea's a really funny team because they play good football sometimes, and other times it's like, were you the one who played the last game? The game against Arsenal was really good. The game against Barcelona was really good. The game against Chelsea, they were quite good. But, when you see them dropping points to Sunderland, Manchester United, Leeds, those are just the ones I have at the top of my mind right now. This team is not consistent enough to challenge for the league. And I'm not even mad at it because I think they've been progressing slowly. And maybe next season is the season they'll challenge for the league. It's too early to say all this. This is still game week 14. But I just look at Chelsea and they just don't look like they have what it takes to challenge for the league. I just feel like they're just a bit too inconsistent to get the results they need to challenge. And, it's what it is with Chelsea. You don't know what team is going to show up on what day. They could be fantastic today and they could be really awful the next day. And Tosin, oh my goodness, I don't know what that was all about. But you need to sort your feet out, bro. Like, you need to sort your feet out. I think the substitutions in the second half were changing the game a bit. Neto came on and scored, but still, I don't think Chelsea really looked like they were going to win that game, to be honest. So, I mean, they sit in third now. I don't think they have what it takes to challenge for the league just yet. And like I said, I think Arsenal are just really good. They're just above everybody else, and I think they're just going to keep winning games. So it's hard to see a world where Arsenal don't win the league. But football is funny. Like, you could just have a set of results that don't make any sense. But Arsenal, they don't look like they're going to have poor results anytime soon. Now that brings me to Aston Villa. Wow, Aston Villa are finding a way back into this league. It's a bit interesting to see because Aston Villa are third now, 27 points, 6 points off Arsenal. They play Arsenal this weekend. From what I know, I think they play Arsenal this weekend. That could be a tough game. Aston Villa are starting to hit form. They've won their last 4 games in the league. I think that's the best record in the league right now. Yeah, 4 games straight. That's the best record in the league. Surprised they lost to Liverpool, to be fair. I think that was a good game by Liverpool as well. But Aston Villa look like a team to watch. They look like they could be fighting for something here. And the game today was so interesting. Like 2-0 down and coming to win 4-3. Yeah, it was 4-3. That's actually quite a good result. And I think from what I saw, I think there were some interesting choices in terms of the refereeing, and that's another topic for another day. But Aston Villa look like they could be in for something this season. But I think that's about it for this episode. For this video, actually, it's my first one. So please let me know what you think about it. If you like it, if you think there's anything I need to improve on, just let me know. And if you enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend who you think might enjoy the video. And yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you guys very soon.